I hope we're in for a civil, intellectual evening tonight, but being that this is a university, and I have a lot of experience with universities, I've been on about 400 campuses, I'm going to hold my breath on that one. You can't get a good education if they're only telling you half the story. Everybody understands this. You watch, a court show. If there's only a prosecutor commenting on the case and there's no defense attorney, you know you're not getting the whole story. And that's true with all controversies in human affairs. And controversies really dominate human affairs. So I'm sorry to tell you, but if you're in the liberal arts program at this university, you're not getting a good education. I've talked to the students here. They can identify 3 or 4 conservatives on the liberal arts faculty, all of whom are in the closet. Conservatives actually outnumber so-called liberals. I don't like to call them liberals because they're really leftists. Something like 40 to 20. But, even assuming that there's a 70-30 split or whatever, the university campuses are practically conservative-free, the faculties. How does this happen? Well, it happens because of the largest and most successful blacklist in the history of this country. McCarthy, I went to Columbia. I was a Marxist, actually, at Columbia in the McCarthy era. McCarthy never had the kind of influence to persecute Marxists, certainly not on college campuses, that Marxists, faculty Marxists at this university and others have today. McCarthy was outside the university community, and the university community was hostile to McCarthy. Closely related to this academic principle is the principle of free speech. And I think one of the problems that we face as a nation is that people take far too for granted the privileges and the rights that they have. There is no more important right than the right of free speech. And that doesn't mean that anybody could stand up right now and start ranting at me. Free speech means the ability to find a platform in which you can express your ideas. Every single right you enjoy is dependent on free speech. Because if you don't have free speech, if people can be attacked for their ideas and driven out of the public square, then you can't defend any of your rights. Then you have a one-party system and a one-orthodoxy society. And I have to tell you that free speech is under attack, systematic attack, on our college campuses by the political left, by people who call themselves progressives and are always screaming that McCarthyism, people are always persecuting them. But in fact, they are the persecutors and the witch hunters. This event is taking place under a cloud of intimidation. There's been so much intimidation to prevent what you're witnessing right now is me speaking in one room on a university campus of 45,000 people. I don't know how many rooms. Yet groups on this campus, and I will name them, the Muslim Students Association, Students for Justice in Palestine, and Jewish Voice for Peace, have led a campaign to vilify and demonize not just me, but of course, because I'm not come and I go, but the students who have sponsored me, and to try to prevent them both from holding this evening and also putting up the wall of lies which was on display today on this campus. And actually, one of the threats was so serious enough that the campus security notified my security that there was a threat made against me. I will probably discuss that later in the evening. But the fact that I have to come, I don't go to a campus without a bodyguard. And the reason is I've been physically attacked on several occasions on universities' campuses, but also that there is such hatred directed at me. I'm misquoted, misrepresented in my quotes, that I have to take seriously the possibility that some deranged individual or group of individuals might want to do me bodily harm. And this is true of many conservative speakers. It's not true of any leftists. Not true of any leftists. This event has been, I've been called a racist, an Islamophobe, and demonized in that way. Just this weekend, you had a loon who I happen to have known when I was a leftist, who, a Jew, who traveled to Lebanon to meet with Hassan Nasrallah, who said that he hopes that all of us Jews gather in Israel so he won't have to hunt us down globally, and went to kiss his ring. And this loon just recently has said Barack Obama is a murderer, that Barack Obama murdered Osama bin Laden, and that if anybody should be assassinated, it's George Bush, because he's a much greater monster than Osama bin Laden. Now, of course, I'm speaking of Noam Chomsky, who lost his mind 30 or 40 years ago, but is a great icon among so-called progressives on college campuses. But the point is, nobody attacked. There wasn't an attempt to intimidate groups from supporting Noam Chomsky. He was allowed to come and say whatever he had to say. The fact of the matter is there was only one. There were several campus groups that would support what I have to say tonight. But only one had the courage to invite me and to put themselves on the line and in the line of fire, which is college Republicans, and I thank them for that. There are other ways that you can express yourself. One is by putting up the wall, which came under enormous attack. The wall is it just refutes 10 lies on which the entire Palestinian case against Israel and the entire case of the left, including Jewish Voices for Peace, is based. Now, I condensed the 10 statements into one and published it in the New York Times. And then I attempted to get the Daily Bruin to buy a page in the Daily Bruin so that UCLA students might see another side. Of course, UCLA students don't tend to see another side because the faculty is all left. It's another reason I could have been invited by a faculty member. In 400 speeches that I've given on university campuses, I've been invited 3 times by faculty. 3 out of 400. The left should be ashamed of itself for doing this. I mean, I understand why the left does it. One of the reasons it does it is